Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. As y'all can tell by the caption of the video today, we're going to be doing a little freestyle set. So I'm super excited. This has a lot of nail art, a lot of vibey stuff. So make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And yeah, we're about to go ahead and get into this tutorial. So I went ahead and started by pushing my client's cuticles back, exposing all of the nail, and then now I'm going around with my 180 sanding band, and this is just to take off all of the natural oils from the nail. That's super important because that is what will prevent the acrylic from adhering to the nail properly. So you don't want to apply too much pressure here. You just simply want to run the band across the entire nail, getting rid of all those natural oils, just giving it a really nice dry base. And you do want to make sure that you're keeping this file moving, because leaving it in one spot for too long will cause friction, which does in turn cause a very painful heat. Y'all, it just made me take a little breath. That's what I had to it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. So yeah, keep that file moving, y'all. So we went ahead and applied the tips and cut them down to her desired length. She wants to keep the square shape, so rock on. I'm all here for it. Now we're taking that same sanding band and we are just blending in the nail tip with the natural nail. This is super important because it just helps with preventing lifting and helps that retention. So now that we have all of that done, we're going in with Mia's Secret dehydrator, and this is just another layer of making sure that those natural oils are by and gone. We need them nails to be dry, okay? And this is super important, y'all. You cannot skip this step. The next step is important as well. The entire prep phase is important. You want to know why your nails ain't lasting? It must be a problem with the prep, okay? Prep is key. Prep is key. Now, after doing that, we're going in with the Mia Secret Bond. Well, extra bond, excuse me. You can also use Young Nails Protein Bond. They both work great. They're both affordable. You can find them on Amazon. If you get Prime, they will be here in 2 days. So yeah, but yeah, we're gonna go ahead and apply this. This is the primer. This is what helps the acrylic bond to the nail properly. I do 2 layers of this. It's totally optional. I just feel like it helps my retention more. And y'all, make sure that you're telling your clients, Miss Ma'am, once I put these products on, do not touch anything. We cannot afford to have no fuzzes, no hairs, no lint, no nothing. Okay, these nails need to stay nice and prepped, or else that will, or I guess I should say that can and will affect the outcome of your set. I just feel like when I was a beginner, I never really cared. I used to slap that stuff on. Here we go, girl, get on your phone, put in your hair, scratch your scalp, whatever you want to do. And then she texted me like, hey girl, my nails are popping off, da, da, da. And it took me so long to understand that if you're getting stuff on your nail beds and it's kind of like building a barrier in between what's holding on that acrylic, then it ain't gonna hold on. You get what I'm saying? So just try to let them know to be mindful of that, because a lot of clients, get bored. They go to get on their phone, they're dropping stuff, their head itches, they're digging in their pocket, and it will cause stuff to get all on their nails. So that ain't no fun. We do not need none of that. We don't want to have to keep re-prepping them, okay? Capiche. All right. So now we are going in with the acrylic. I'm using Mia's Secret Nude Blush. That is my fave. So definitely check it out. You can get it from Amazon. I usually use Sugar and Cream, which is a brand from Instagram, but when that's not available or when I don't have time to order that and wait for it, I just go right on Amazon and order this, and I love it. It's affordable, it's good. You need to get you some. So I went ahead and we just applied the acrylic on the pinky nail. I need to stop talking, huh? I'll be trying to, just trying to relax, have a little girl chat with my girls watching, make it comfortable. But anyways, as you can see, I only had to use 2 beads here. So I placed the first bead where the nail and the nail tip meet. And I just went ahead and feathered it down and built up the bottom half of the nail. I then placed the second bead right underneath the cuticle area, feathered that down, and I feel like I needed to add a little bit more in this bottom left corner, so that is why I placed a bead there. Y'all, regardless of what I say or what anybody else says, if you need to add more acrylic, do so. Don't think that there's like a 2 bead rule, a 4 bead rule, whatever. If you need to add more acrylic, definitely do so, as I did, because you do not want your client's nails being all bendy. You don't want it to be no clear spots, no nail tip showing, no nothing. We need these nails to be good, okay? They're paying for it, so we got to give them what they need. And yeah, if you need to add more acrylic, do so. Here I am. I'm placing that same bead. Well, oh, girl, slow down. I'm placing that next bead for the next nail in that same first spot. That's what I meant. It's a tongue tie doing these tutorials, y'all. It's a tongue twister, okay? It's a challenge. Bear with me. But as y'all can see, I just feathered it down. And the reason why I keep saying feathered is because you don't want to apply too much pressure. You don't want to drag or like pull at your acrylic because it'll just get stuck in your brush. And then you're going to have bigger problems on your hands. So we'll get into that later or another video. Long story short, make sure that you are feathering it and working lightly. Like I said, you don't want no acrylic to get stuck in your brush. A good way to help with that is to making sure that you are keeping your brush nice and clean. As you can see, I'm constantly taking time to wipe it on in paper towels, keeping it clean. So now with the second bead, I placed it right underneath the cuticle. And the reason why I keep saying right underneath the cuticle and not placing it at the cuticle or on the cuticle is because when you feather your acrylic down, it does push up just slightly. And you want this acrylic to be nice and flush with your client's cuticle, as close and as neat and packed into that cuticle as you can get it. So placing it right underneath and feathering it down, and that little bit of push up will let it be right where it needs to be. If you do feel like for some reason you need to add a little bit more, definitely do so. Just be cautious. You do not want any acrylic to get on your client's cuticle area or skin. If that happens, just simply take your brush and wipe around the cuticle area. There's nothing much to it. It's easier to do it now, and it does happen. It still happens to me every now and then. And personally, even if I know that I don't have any acrylic there or on the cuticle area, on the skin, whatever, I still be wiping. It's better to be safe than sorry. So yes, better to do it now rather than once it's dry. It's a whole different ball game. I don't even like thinking about that because it's just a hassle. So, but it does happen, y'all. Give yourself some grace because I feel like the acrylic application is one of the hardest steps in the acrylic process overall. So definitely just pay attention to that. And as you see, I wanted to add a little bit more acrylic on the nail in that corner again. I don't know what it was. I think that these were some new nail tips. I don't know what it was, y'all, why I kept feeling like the acrylic wasn't really working with me on that side, but I don't know. We're fixing it though. It's all good. Normally I don't have to do that, but like regardless of if I have to use 1,000 beads or 1,000 random beads, whatever, we're getting those nails nice and built up. Okay, that's another thing I want to touch on. The most important part of the nail is the apex, which is where the natural nail and the nail tip meet. Like right where you're placing that nail tip, right where you glued it on, that is the heart of the nail. Okay, without that nail tip being right there, without that connection, there ain't no nail tip. So that's the part that we want to protect the most. That is going to be called the apex. And you don't want that to be super thick. Don't think just because you add a bunch of acrylic on your nail that you won't have any breaking or that you won't have any popping off. That's not the case. It's actually the opposite. It is more harmful to your client's nails than it is helpful. So you do just want to make sure, as long as you're placing your beads where they need to be and you are feathering that acrylic, your apex should be nice and built up. I normally say for beginners, I like to say what helped me was placing one towards the edge of the nail, right above it, at the apex, and the cuticle area. I stuck with a 3 to 4 bead method depending on the length of the nails when I was a beginner, and that is what helped me a lot as time went on and as I got more experience with acrylic and everything in that whole area. I was able to start using just 2 or just 3 or whatever. Obviously, like I said, sometimes you still have to go back in and adjust that a little bit. But overall, yeah, I think the 4B method helped me a lot. And I do want to say that when you're applying the acrylic, this is just random while it's on my mind. You want to make sure that you are wiping the sides of the nails, as you can see I'm doing here. That is just to keep that shape. I feel like the neater and cleaner that you work during the application, like the acrylic application, the less work you'll have to do after, as far as like filing and shaping and whatnot, and that will save you a lot of time. So if you're somebody that you know what you're doing, you do everything great, but you're just trying to figure out, why can I not cut down any time? Obviously, you don't want to rush. If you're somebody that just takes a little bit longer, that's totally okay. As long as, if your clients are getting good nails, lasting nails, don't fix what ain't broken. But if just looking for little tips and tricks, that is one thing that I say helps me a lot, is making sure to keep my application nice and clean and neat. I'll be applying my acrylic like I do not own a file, y'all. Seriously. But it's pretty much just nothing else to it. Just keep applying the beads, as you can see, and I'm just building it up, making sure that my nail is nice and strong, like nice and built, making sure I have a nice apex, making sure the cuticle areas are nice and clean, and making sure to keep that shape. You do want to make sure also that you're looking at your client's nails from different angles, and that'll just help to tell you, if you need to add any more acrylic. I feel like it's always better to add more than to have to file a whole bunch of acrylic away. So like add as you need to, rather than just jump to having a super built up thick nail, because 9 times out of 10 that's not going to do what you think it was going to do. You don't need no big old nail. Like I said, the apex is the most important part. If as long as your apex is built up properly, then 9 times out of 10 the rest of your nail is built up the way it needs to be built as well. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and finish watching the acrylic process. If you have any questions or want me to touch on anything, need some extra videos, personal questions, whatever, one-on-one, please comment below, or you can also reach out to me on social medias, which will be down in the description. I'm willing to do FaceTime calls, private, I don't even know, I sound old, Zoom, I don't know what else they have besides FaceTime. But if you're needing a little bit more help with one specific area, whatever the case may be, you can definitely just comment or hit me up on my socials. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all finish watching the acrylic part, and then I'm gonna pick back up once we get to the next step. Okay, so here we are. We're done with the acrylic application. And now we are going to be cleaning up this shape, y'all. So like I said, she is keeping squares. So we're going to be filing the sides of the nail straight up and down. You want to make sure that you are pulling your client's skin back because these files are sharp. This is an 80 grit that I use. Some nail techs use different grits. That's totally okay. This is super sharp. I feel like this is what gets me that crispiest shape. So definitely um pull them client skin back. Pull your client's skin back regardless because it will slice them and it's uncomfortable. But you do want to make sure that when you're filing, like I said, have the file straight up against the sides of the nail and filing at a 90-degree angle, just straight up and down. Once you feel like you have those nice and even, you do want to go ahead and file the free edge, as you can see I'm doing here, placing the file straight up against the free edge of the nail, filing up and down, 90-degree angle. I need to get out of the habit of using the 90-degree angle. It's just literally been in my vocabulary, like in my tutorial vocab since I started, because I feel like, I don't know, it's just so specific. But y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all don't have to know what a 90-degree angle is. Keep that file straight up and down, stiff as can be, and you're going to get that crispy clean shape. Another thing, you do want to make sure you're filing the undersides of the nails. Once you've wiped the sides of the nails during the application so many times and filing and just this and that, sometimes it can result in your bottom sides to be a little jagged, so rugged, whatever you want to call it, but we need them nice and straight, nice and clean and crisp. So just run it on the undersides of the nails, a little here and there, as you can see I'm kind of doing, and that just helps add a little bit more quality to the set. Anything that we can do to add quality and make the nails even nicer, we're going to do around here. Okay, so I recommend doing that for sure. And then it's pretty simple with the square because we don't have to do any extra. I do also like to take my file once I shape them all, and I like to run it across the entire nail except for the cuticle area. Let me throw that out there. Do not do the cuticle area. I'll explain that in a second, but I do like to run the file across the entire rest of the nail, like the top, and kind of like buff it out a little bit. That's totally optional. I just like doing that because I feel like when I go to move on to doing my nail art, it has just applied so much better for me, so much more smooth. I like it. I can't describe it. Yes, I still do use my e-file, my sanding band. Look at me running my mouth, y'all. That's my problem now. I run my mouth too much. I need to file. But anyways, I do still use my sanding band, but briefly. I feel like I like this method more. It's totally optional. You can just file, take care of the shape, and then use the e-file like usual, like regular. It's up to you. The reason I do want to say this before you move on, the reason I say don't get the cuticle area is because you'll see when I do that filing that I'm telling you about, it is so easy to get your client's cuticle to nick them, and you don't really need to, because regardless, you have to use that e-file around the cuticle area. You don't have to use your e-file to file down the rest of the nail. Like if your acrylic is nice and smooth and everything, no lumps, no bumps, filing it with the hand file will do everything that the e-file would do. But in the cuticle area, you need that e-file. So, you know what I'm saying? You might as well just save it and get it nice and precise. But yeah, again, make sure you're flipping your client's nails, hand, looking at it from different angles, making sure the nails are nice and even, nice and straight. If you need to go back in and fix it. Super simple. After looking at the nails for so long, especially when you've had multiple clients, sometimes staring at it from one point of view just makes everything look a-okay. Girl, flip that hand. Go ahead and fix the little mistakes if there are any. We need our girls to be walking out of here with the best clackers there can be, because I say this in all my videos, or at least I've been trying to, for especially my beginners, or somebody, even if you're not a beginner, you feel like you're struggling with getting clientele. Your clients are your number one form of advertisement, especially your happy clients, because girls love to brag. They love to brag about, look what I got. Look, I got the best nails, X, Y, and Z. Other girls love to have whatever other girls have. if a girl sees somebody walking down the street with the best nails, coming into school with the best nails, coming into work with the best nails, they want that too, especially if it's something that they don't already have. And I don't mean that like a jealousy way, but just in general. Bomb nails, I want that. And all it takes is for you to have that one happy client with them bomb nails that you did to show Cindy, and now Cindy done told her cousin, and now her cousin done told her best friend, and boom, now you done got 3-4 clients, maybe even more off one client. So you want to make sure that you're putting your all into these nail sets. That way you got a happy client that is going around bragging about you, showing off her beauties. Okay, so yeah, I'm about to let y'all finish watching this. I'm gonna get back in at the next step. This right here is what I was telling y'all about filing with the hand file over the nail. So watch it if you want. If that's not something you plan on doing or you're not interested in it, you can go ahead and skip to the next part. So yeah. Okay, so now we got the e-file out. Y'all, this step is for sealing the cuticles. And then if you're not somebody that used the hand file to file the whole nail, or even if you are, you'll see that I still like to run it over the nail just because I'm already here. It's going to take me 0.2 extra seconds, but I like to, the main part here is to file and seal the cuticles. So that is important because it's what's going to help prevent lifting and just help with the lasting of the nails overall. You want the cuticle area to be nice and flush, so you want to make sure you're keeping that in mind, one, when you're applying the acrylic, to have it nice and packed, and then here again when you are filing with the e-file and you're sealing that cuticle. And like I said, sealing is just making sure that it's nice and flat, there's no open pockets, everything is nice, flat, and flush with the cuticle, because you don't want to give any lifting, any popping off. We want these nails to last. So another thing that I like to say, another tip, is to file the sides of the nails with the e-file just briefly. It just really helps give it a nice, sharp, clean look. Not that the hand file doesn't do that, but I feel like it's just something different about that e-file. So as you can see, I'm still taking the time to kind of run it across the rest of the nail too. Totally optional if you've already done use the hand file, but it doesn't hurt to do it. Just add a little more oomph, you know. And another thing that I do is file the, I don't really know. Okay, it's the free edge, but I want to give y'all a more detailed word. It's like the crescent of the nail. Like you see the free edge, but underneath the little, yeah, that. I like to file that. I don't know. Everybody calls it something different. It's the free edge of the nail, but I want to give y'all, like I said, a more specific, detailed word. This right here that I'm filing right now. That y'all see what I'm doing? Definitely recommend it. It really. I didn't used to do this, y'all. I did not used to do that when I was a beginner, but I did it. Started doing it, ain't went back since. It just adds so much more, much more of a clean, this, I don't know, y'all, just clack, 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 like wants to make you do that little, that hand gesture that people do when they get their nails. It's like a duck talking. Yeah, it just adds so much oomph and body and niceness to the nail. So I recommend doing that for sure. It takes you 2 extra seconds. It just really cleans that up under there and makes it look super sharp and super clean. So I think you should get into it, girl. right, now we are at the easiest step probably in the whole entire tutorial is buffing. You do just want to make sure that you're buffing the entire nail, cuticle area, sides, everything, top, bottom, left, right. Buff this entire nail just to get rid of any scratches, any nicks that could have been left on there from that hand file, from the e-file, whatever. This is just really making sure that it's smoothed out, ready to go. As you can see, I do like to run it underneath the undersides of the nails, just literally one little swipe, two little swipe, something, and that just helps. I feel like sometimes, yes, the nails are going to be sharp because we just put our elbow in it filing it, yeah, but sometimes the sides, like the undersides of the nail, it ain't a good sharp. So that helps in my opinion. But this is, yeah, super easy. So then I have my clients wash their hands. I do like to apply like an overload of cuticle oil, and once I do that, they wash their hands with soap, come back, dry them. I do like to get some acetone on a lint-free wipe and just go ahead and wipe each and every nail, and that's just to ensure that there's no like lint from the paper towels, nothing else, you know, them digging in their pockets, pulling out their money, whatever. Nice, clean, lint-free, everything free, ready to go. So every finger is going to have a pink French tip besides one. Which one that is? Oh, it's the ring finger. So we're gonna get back to that, but every finger is going to have a French tip. So I like to do my French tips, especially since this is like a medium longish set. Start by outlining the sides. That way I can kind of get a map of where I want to start bringing my French in at. And once you do that, you just want to connect both sides and fill it in. I think that outlining the sides helps me a lot. I used to hate French tip. I love it now. I would do it all day, every day if that's the only style. If I could pick one style to do for the rest of my nail career, it would probably be French tip. Might need to add a little croc print on there, but I'll take it. But I used to be terrified of it, and it was very intimidating. I used to literally try to convince my clients to get a different design. So just practice, y'all. If you're somebody that's struggling, practice. There's like a million and one ways to do French tip, a million and one ways that people say this is how you should do it. If you want a guaranteed perfect French tip, this is how you should do it. I'm not saying that they're wrong, but baby, I done tried everything under the sun. I had to freak it. I just had to keep practicing and do what worked for me. And that was just this method here. So try it. Might work for you, it might not, but it's worth a try. It's really no like secret hidden talent or anything to it. I just like I said, outline the sides of the nails to kind of map out, okay, this is how high I want my French, I guess I should say, or how deep, whatever. And then I just start by one side or the other. I kind of start to, you know, pull it down and creating that loop. I then connect it on the other side, and then I just clean it up. Yeah, it really just takes practice, y'all. French tip, do not let nobody tell you it's easy, because it ain't easy. I hate when people be like, oh, I just want a basic French tip. Yeah, it's a simple design, but it is not basic. It is not easy to do, baby. It's basic. It's a basic look, but not a basic doing. So just definitely practice, y'all. Just practice. You will get it, my girl. You will get it for sure. Or my guy, whoever. I do also want to mention that once you have all of your French tips done, this is with any gel polish. Anytime you have worked with gel polish, if it has kind of started to, it depends, because like certain gel polishes do this, certain ones don't, but sometimes the gel polish will kind of leak over onto the sides. As you can see here, I simply just take a brush and dip it in acetone and just clean it up. And this actually is a perfect example as to why I'm going to say what I'm about to say. Anytime you use any sort of gel, definitely wipe the sides as you just seen me do there, right before curing. Don't do it and then not come back to it until who knows how long later. You might have to do it 2-3 times a nail, especially if it's getting really runny, but just make sure that before you're curing it, you're wiping this, not literally the sides, but like the undersides. So any excess polish is nice and clean. You do not want to lose that shape. We can fix it, but in order to avoid having to worry about fixing it, just wipe them sides and then let it cure. Okay, so now that we have them friendships done, we're going to be doing a blooming gel design on the pinky. So this is Beetle's brand. Rumor has it that blooming gel is just base coat. If that's true, I don't know. I've never tried it, but if y'all don't have no blooming gel and y'all want to try this design, try base coat. Let's see what it does. Somebody comment down below and tell me if that's true or not. I'm gonna try it one day, but as y'all can see, this gel is running low, so I either need to order some more or try that base coat method. But you just want to apply a thin layer. You do not want to apply too much because it's going to just create a whole mess. So just apply this very thinly, and then whatever color you're getting, go ahead and put that on like a liner brush. Granted, it depends on what design you're doing, but for this case we're doing like the croc print look. So I'm just going ahead and going down the center of the nail, right in the center with like 3 even lines, and then I'm going down the side with little smaller lines, little hyphens. That's what I like to call them. Now this is just like the 3D acrylic design, the 3D croc print design. The only difference is obviously it's not 3D. We use the blooming gel. So as you can see, that was super simple, super quick. And you do want to let it cure. Now with the blooming gel, you got to move quick because it does not stop blooming. So, but I say, as you've seen, I did it. It looked exactly how we wanted it to look. Go ahead and put that under. Make sure that you are paying attention to your clients, because I've had clients that I tell them to put it under and I'm thinking they put it under and I'm just not paying attention. I'm rushing. I'm looking at something different, whatever. And they're all looking at it and taking their time, and then they put it under. And by the time they pull it back out, I'm looking at it like, girl, you did not put this under when I told you to. Couldn't have. So you got to be mindful of that when you're using blooming gel. Make sure that it's exactly how you want it. Go ahead and put it right under. Y'all hear the snap? Quick with it. But this is going to be the chrome finger. So, okay, there's so many different ways that you can do chrome, so many different looks. In my head, I usually just use white or black. Black is when I want the more like spacey, in-depth type of chrome look. And then I use white when I kind of just want, like, I don't want to say a dry chrome look, but I don't want it to be as in-depth. So big tip, when you're doing chrome, whatever polish you use, whether it's white, black, pink, yellow, whatever, only cure it for 30 seconds. A lot of people say 60. I have noticed that a big problem with chrome is that it looks super grainy, right? If you feel like you're having that problem, I have heard people say, oh, well, just put it over top coat, put it over this, do it this way, do it that way. What works 100% for me to not have that grainy look, I cure my polish for 30 seconds. You want it to be, tacky, obviously not super wet, but 60 seconds is just too much for me. I feel like that's when I have certain patches of the polish that don't stick to the chrome. I have certain parts that it's looking different. 30 seconds is just a tell all for me. So as you can see, you just want to make sure that you're rubbing it in really good, and then you do take something to dust off the excess. If you have something around the cuticle area, don't panic. I will tell y'all how to get that off. So we're going to be doing like a chrome heart type of look. You might have to zoom in a little bit, but this actually was only my second time doing this. The first time I did this design, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. So I went in to this set a little nervous. I don't ever tell my clients that, but if I can't do something, I'm gonna let you know for sure. But if I know I can do it, but I'm nervous, I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna just make myself do it. And we figured it out. One thing I will say though, y'all, be mindful, because the chrome, if you mess up, normally on any other nail, you can just take some acetone and wipe it off. If you use acetone, this is coming off for sure. I have not figured out a way to not let that happen. So actually on this exact finger, this is my second time doing it. Y'all wouldn't know if I didn't tell you, but I did a cross. The crosses look good, and I forgot she wanted 3. We didn't have enough room, so I literally had to wipe it off, do the whole chrome over, whatever. But I didn't have to take the polish off. Once you wipe it off, it'll just be the base color. I just applied another coat of the white, let it cure for 30 more seconds, did the chrome, we're rocking. So yeah, these crosses are super simple. There's a bunch of different type of chrome heart crosses, but these, for instance, were just the ones where you do the cross, of course, and then at the ends you kind of have like the little flare. It did It didn't take me like much practicing to do this. I just say work slow, especially if you're doing nail art that you know that you can do for sure. Just work slow. Don't try to just go into it busting it out, because 9 times out of 10 that's when it's going to be rushed, or that's when you're going to, everything's done and over with, and then you get home and you're looking at pictures and you're like, I could have done that a little better. So this is actually, like I said, super simple. You just want to start by doing the cross. What I did, I just started by doing the downward line and then branched out. There's like 3 little layers, I guess. So there's the cross, and then on each corner of the cross there's like the middle, and then the 2 little pointing outward ones. I don't know what to call them, but I just did the downward. I went ahead, and once I had that, drew on like the little pointies at the end. This sounds terrible, y'all. Y'all probably just are better off watching. Y'all just want to watch. I'm trying to describe it, but it's easier. You know how they say some things are just better to watch than described? That's not a saying. I just made that up, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? I probably just gotta watch. It's really not that hard. I be trying my hardest to be so in detail and so in depth for y'all, so you can know how to do it. But just draw the cross at the ends. You have the middle. Add a little V. Have it flare on one side of that line, another flare on the other side of the line. There we go. Hopefully that makes sense, but y'all can see it on the video, so we're gonna have to work with that. Love y'all still. Anyways, now we have everything top coated. The rest of the nails are going to be croc print. So everything is top coated. We're going to be doing the 3D croc print, basically what we did on the pinky, but instead of it being with blooming gel, this is that 3D croc print I was talking about. So again, we're just taking the polish and going down the center with 3 nice even lines. You can do 2. You can do 4, whichever, as long as they're even and uniform, and you do the same on every nail, obviously. So now we're going to go ahead and add our little hyphen 3D marks on the side. Once you have everything nice and even, you're going to go ahead and pour the acrylic over top. If this is something that you struggle with, or you want another like in-depth tutorial, comment down below, or just go on my page. I have plenty of this design that I've did over and over and over. So as you can see, you just want to sprinkle the acrylic over top. I use clear acrylic, and dust off the excess while that's still wet. Then you cure. Do not dust off anything until it's cured. Cure for 60 seconds while the polish is wet. Okay? Wet polish, do the design, pour the acrylic, cure, brush off the excess. You can use just like your duster. I feel like what worked best for me was that little scrubber tool. I don't know if that's the word. I call it that because that's like what you have your clients like scrub their nails with sometimes. But yeah, so anyways, we did that on the ring finger. I'm looking at the ring finger, the pointer finger. I'm sorry, we only did that on the pointer. I thought we did that on all the other nails, but we didn't. We did that on just the pointer, and now I'm just going in with some bling. So I like to use Macart rhinestone glue. It works amazing for me. You want to make sure that you put enough though, and when you do place your gems, make sure that you kind of press them into the gel. If you have any excess, just take a brush with some acetone and wipe off the excess. Like if you put too much, try to make sure that you're not taking any off from underneath of the rhinestone gem, whatever you want to call it. And y'all, this is super thick, so your stones 9 times out of 10 will slide. So as you can see, I keep having to go back and correct them, have to fix them. Once you have them exactly where you want them, make your client's hand. A tip that helps me, I make my clients hold their hands nice and firm, like so. Fix them, and I kind of guide them back into the dryer. And this dries ASAP, so you got to make sure that it's where you want it to be before drying. And yeah, this is the outcome. So cute. Y'all like them? I really like them. I was nervous about the crosses, y'all, but I did that for sure. Just a little something. Yeah, I like them. But yeah, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. If you need any other videos, if you want to see me do anything else, comment down below, inbox me on my social medias, whatever, y'all. But yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.